Studying medicine is my dream. I wanted to become a doctor and nothing else. So, I was waiting for the first day of my MBBS. This video is in 3 sections. You can jump to the part that you want to see first. Let's get started. Starting first and foremost, you are going to need an apron, which is part and parcel of becoming a doctor. Then you are going to need a stethoscope, which is signature of the doctor. Try and get a better one if you can. Then you are going to need this sphygmomanometer, which is used for measurement of blood pressure. Then you are going to need this OT dress if you ever get a chance to go inside operation theatre, and it should be complete with head cap and footwears. Lastly, you may need these H and E pencils for drawing microscopy diagrams in pathology, microbiology and histology. And then these are dissection instruments that will be needed for dissection. This is scissor, scalpel with blade, a plain forceps and a tooth forceps as it has a tooth. And that is all that you'll need for the first year. Now that we are done with it, let's start the story. My first day of MBBS. How I wish I knew I was going to make a video on it. I would have taken more photos and videos. I start my story with the day I got allotted GMC Nagpur. I went to the college, I showed them my allotment letter. They asked me to fill a bunch of forms, a piece of advice. Whatever document that you are taking to the college, make at least 4 Xerox copies of it and keep 1 copy as a soft copy in your mobile phone. The process took us all day. Afterwards, I got my roll number. It is usually randomly assigned. I got number 33. I had no idea about the significance of the roll number, but looking back now, I am not exaggerating when I say that a roll number can make and break a life in MBBS. Fast forward to the day 1 of my medical college. I was chilling at home and reading newspaper when I first heard about it. 1st August. I called my friend Manav and asked him if it was true and when and where we are supposed to meet. Of course, I was completely blank. I even thought GMC Nagpur has a dress code. Frantically collecting my bag, just 1 book and 1 pen, I hurried to the bus and hopped on from Selu to Nagpur. I thought it would be day 1 of the class, so I didn't bring my parents. I reached there at about 10 o'clock, and to my surprise, I was taken to the auditorium. That was the first time that I came to know that I messed up. It wasn't the day of class, it was the inauguration ceremony. We were all supposed to bring our parents and sit through the welcome. Okay, it cannot get any worse than this. Or so I thought. As the students were coming in, I realized that we are not supposed to dress so formally. With my tucked-in shirt and pant, I was a textbook nerd sticking out among the cool people. First day in a new college, and me hardly being an 18-year-old idiot who has bread for the brain. I got very conscious and afraid of it all. That's when I did the mistake number 2. I tried avoiding all my friends. The program started with introductory speech, the teachers and guests telling us about how we should behave and about the history and glory of the college. It was an enlightening experience. Nowadays, new batches get a foundation course 1 month before their actual routine classes start. For us, it was straight up, from inauguration to the tour of college, ending up in dissection hall. About the tour, we were asked to form a line and shown all the dissection labs and practicals and classes. That was the first time when I actually came to know how big GMC Nagpur is. I have been there for more than 3 years now, and every single time I get lost in the college. In the tour, we were shown anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, practical rooms and lecture halls, which were all on different buildings and different floors. It was fascinating to see all the gadgets and instruments kept in the practical labs. Little did I know that those same instruments were going to whip my sorry butt at the end of the year in Viva. The tour was long and tiring. We ended up in the dissection hall, a big hall with 10 tables on each side. All 200 of us were standing in a corner. A very scary looking sir was calling out our roll numbers and allotting us to our respective dissection table. Did I mention the smell of dissection hall? The smell of formalin? It burned the hair in our nose. It is the kind of smell that feels weird at first and then slowly makes its way on the inner side of the nose and starts pricking it there. The prick turns into burning and tears fall from your eyes. The only way out is to get used to it. Of course, that is what the scary sir told us. A lot of us who were trying to cover our nose with handkerchiefs got scolded. So we stood there, surviving through it all. I got allotted table number 2 for my anatomy dissection. Anuj got allotted table number 1. We were all asked to to take a oath to respect the cadaver and the profession of medicine. The cadaver was the first and finest teacher of my med school life. And that scary sir, he is one of my most favorite teachers in whole MBBS. Surely you cannot judge a book by its cover, but trust me, I still hate the smell of formalin. Back to the dissection hall. We were asked to sit around our respective table and stare at each other and the cadaver. I had seen a movie called Munna Bhai MBBS and I was waiting for people, especially girls, to faint out after seeing all that. To my surprise, nothing like that happened. Looking around, I felt overwhelmed by the aura of the students. They looked so studious and cool, yet all I could think of was the smell of formalin. My first day of dissection was actually on the next day. We were taught how to put blade in the scalpel handle and then asked to read Cunningham. That's one of the books that I have never finished. Sitting there for half an hour, just learning how to incise a single flap of skin, told me, MBBS सच में खून मांगता है. Then sir came and asked to take the incision. I took the initiative because why not? Making the first incision, my hands were shaky but the blade was sharp. I took a deep breath. Once the blade touched the skin, everything felt automatic. Human body is really fragile. We need to take care of it. Afterwards, I came back to my home. And the first question that my parents asked me was, Radla Kare, did you cry? Of course I didn't. That day opened a new door in my life. Here I am, Abhijit Tagarate, third year MBBS student of GMC Nagpur. As I look back, I wish I knew someone who will guide me through my first year of MBBS. I wish to be that person for you. So in the next segment, I'll be doing just that. What to read. Giving the NEET exam and revising the same NCERT book hundreds of times. You are of the habit of by-hearting every word of the textbook. But after seeing so many books of first year, you'll definitely start praying for your life. Here's lesson 1. You cannot learn everything. You don't have a picture perfect memory. And you don't obviously have time to read everything. तो क्या करे? पढ़ना छोड़ दे? ना बेटा ना. Studying in MBBS is all about understanding and connecting the dots. After your lecture, revise that topic. Take proper notes. Draw a lot of diagrams. Rather than Google, use medical dictionary to understand the terminologies. Attend all of your practicals and whatever you learn in it, try it on your friends. You cannot know everything of everything. You need to know something of everything. At the end of the year, you should know the basic anatomy of the whole body and each organ. You should be able to do the examination of every system, including pulse and blood pressure. You should be able to tell what organ or organ system is that particular disease related to. And you should be able to read the reports that your relatives are going to ask you soon enough. These practical skills will be helpful to you every year. Trust me when I say, if you master the basics, you master MBBS. As for the new CBME pattern and what books to read, I have made a detailed video on it. So you can refer to the link in the description. DAMS versus Marrow. Right after entering MBBS, you start worrying about your PG entrance exams. Early preparation is the key to success. But how early should we start? I will say you should start right after your foundation course is over. Now the question comes, which coaching class to choose? That is completely your choice and I don't want to influence it in any way. The teachers are the best of their field in both DAMS and Marrow. I am personally using DAMS for lectures and Marrow and Pre-PG app for solving questions. Remember, single source, multiple revisions. I'll share more about next strategies in my next video. University exams. Before PG, you need to survive your MBBS. The college semester exams, preliminary exams, university exams. They are no joke. If you are not consistent with your studies, it will be difficult for you to even pass the exams. There are a few basic tricks that I learned throughout the years. Exam paper is predictable. Read only the important topics. Draw a lot of diagrams. Solve previous year question papers. The more you practice, the better marks you will get. Most importantly, this will be the first time in your life when you'll get an average of 50 to 60%. It has happened with me and most other people that I know. It's just like the time when the first few episodes of a series are boring but you watch the entire series just because someone told you that it gets better in the next half. Look at your goals just like that and watch your life get better. How to avoid ragging. All the colleges have anti-ragging squad and there is no ragging whatsoever. I'd like to tell you how to maintain proper behavior and respect your teachers and seniors. Always maintain a proper attire and behavior befitting a doctor. You will soon be going to the hospital for the posting and the patients are bound to talk to you. The respect that you are getting is because of the apron. Please be well-mannered and pleasant to the patients. Okay, let me say this straight. Now that you are in MBBS, you have accomplished the achievement of your lifetime. Don't get cocky about it. In front of the teachers, we are still babies, barely able to walk. So ask a lot of silly doubts and don't mind if they scold us a little. It's all for our own benefit. Hostel versus room. According to the rent, hostels are cheaper. Personal room gives you more privacy and space. According to my experience, hostels or rooms doesn't matter as long as you have the right company. So focus on finding a good room partner. Just go and check the hostels and rooms personally and see the one that fits you. Balancing personal life and studies. New college, new friends, new subjects, probably a new city and a new you. With so many changes in your life, you might get overwhelmed in the beginning. So how to balance personal life and study? Simply stop studying until you get adjusted to your environment. It may take a few days or a week. It's okay. Take your time. Your health is more important. Once you are settled in your place and eating properly, slowly begin to study. Start with 1 hour per day and increase it up to 4 to 6 hours per day. Making a daily and weekly schedule will also help you in it. Friends and relationships. This is also a part of balancing your personal life and studies, but I want to mention it separately. Your friend circle at the start of the MBBS won't be the same as that at the end of the MBBS. There will be many people of so many different backgrounds. We ourselves will be growing into adulthood. Our behavior, our likes and dislikes will keep on changing. Accordingly, our comfort zone changes too. That's why, take your time and find a group of friends that fit you. As for relationships, at least from where I come from, it's a delicate topic to talk about. People aren't so open about it, but in college, it's actually a very normal occurrence. My only piece of advice will be, just don't rush into it. Mental health. I understand that college is important and education is important, but I feel like there's a huge difference between a healthy amount of challenge that will make us better and being so stressed that you break down and cry. Talk about your mental health to your friends, to your family, to anyone that you are comfortable with. If it's too much, just go to the psychiatrist. Take therapy. There's nothing wrong in it. If your mental health is starting to affect your physical health, treat yourself like you're sick. Minimum of 24 hours to yourself. Nap as much as you like, drink plenty of liquids, and go watch the movie that you always wanted to watch. The world can wait. The fact that students will really commit suicide because of failing grades really shows that how much of unnecessary pressure is put on young adults to figure out what we want to be in our life. Please remember, failure is acceptable. You can fail as many times as you want. What matters is for you to get back up and try again. I don't know what you have overcome to make it this far, but you are here. You have arrived. All your hard work has paid off. So be proud of your progress. Be proud of your efforts. That's all for today. This is Abhijit signing out. Happy studying and see you in the next video.